Hey, what's up? I'm Jay Moss, and today we're going to try out the new TONEFORGE plugin from Joey Sturgis Tones. This one is the Jeff Loomis version. I'll admit that I'm not like much of a metalhead, so I didn't really know who Jeff Loomis is, but he played in Nevermore, now he plays in Arch Enemy. Metalheads, I bet you have opinions about these bands because you're metalheads and you have opinions about everything. And given the types of guitar players that I think use Sims a lot, it makes sense to do metal because metal is like traditionally heavy, precise. So digital is really good at that. I wondered, what was this going to be like for someone with my playing style? Like, I'm definitely not a shredder, but I play a lot of articulate like chord variations and with a lot of dynamics. And I actually found this to be pretty cool. Like, it's very good and doesn't have a lot of that like digital-ness that I hear in Sims so often that usually turns me off from them. So I came in skeptical, but it's dope. So enough talking, let's use it. Okay, so I'll be playing this thing both in solo and then like we'll do a little like quick snippet of a song. And just for what it's worth, you know, we're gonna start with rhythms, we'll do some bass, we'll throw some bass in there, it's actually pretty cool on bass, and do some leads and some cleans. So I just kind of pulled this up and, you know, if you just go with whatever, if I click default again, does it do it? No. All right, well anyway, default looks a whole lot like this. Something like that. And I armed my track. And it sounded real cool right away. Like it kind of has that smushiness that I like from real amps, but I just thought it sounded dark. So I was like, oh, let's try this. I think it sounds great. Oh, I also added this. So this would normally be off when you fire it up. This is clearly like an 808 pedal, and it does exactly what an 808 pedal does. Tightens up the low end, gives you a little bit more sustain as well. And of course, more noise. Here we go. On the cabs, there's a bunch of cabs in here you can pick from. I went through them. My favorite cab was the Joey Sturgis face cab. The golden sealed matched cab. We'll get to these. These are friggin' sick. And the this EQ, so why are there two EQs? Well, this one's like what you'd have on your head. Picture this just like an amp. So when you turn the knobs on your head, you know, it's interacting with the tubes, all that good stuff. When you turn the knobs on your EQ after your head, it just augments the tone like afterwards. So it's like this creates the tone, this EQs the tone you created. I didn't find it to be needed right out of the gate, but I bet that it would be useful, especially metalheads, tweaker type dudes. So here we go. Let's just jam on this for a second and then we'll play it to some drums. So this is what it just sounds like. And that's fun and all, but who really cares unless you're making music with it, so let's make music with it. All right, here we go. I know this is off topic real quick. Does anybody remember this band? This band's awesome. Was awesome. Listen to this band. Anyway, how do we feel about the tone? Comment below. I think it was cool. Like, I think the chugs obviously are held really, really tightly. That's something this is doing really well. And like this real amp does it really well, but this is like my favorite amp of all time. It's like the one thing it can't do. I have to use pedals for that. So just to have something that encourages me to chug is fun because it's not something I do a lot of. And then on the second half, I kind of like open things up. I add a couple non-diatonics in there, more complex intervals, because I think it's important to hear how it reacts to both. It's like, there's like two things with guitar playing, like rock guitar playing, right? Like you've got your tight stuff and you get your settings for that. And then a lot of times, like as you move up the fretboard, you start getting like janglies going and all that. like they just get eaten up by what sounded good on more simple interval compositions. So I just thought it'd be cool to like do both so you could hear both. Let's quickly smash out some bass. When it comes to amps, I don't really like discriminate, you know, very 2020 of me. But it's like an amp's an amp, so I record bass through guitar amps all the time. I am sure people have opinions about this, but I do it on like every record almost. Cool, let's just quickly pull up. I did use the rhythm for the bass again. I had to turn the gain way down. It gets crazy fast. And I did not use this. This can kind of suck up low end, so I was like, no dice there. Same thing, gold seal of approval. The match cab trademark Joey Sturgis head cab was my favorite. No effects on this. Can't wait to get to that though. And yeah, dude, just sounds good out of the box. In the box, we're in the box. All right, here we go. Let's see how this sounds on its own. Cool. What about this one? Anyway, it sounds good. It doesn't have like as much of that like digital thing that I basically hate in digital amps. So I think this is going to be super useful. And here we go. All right, that's bass. I sort of did the same thing. I did some simple stuff, like one note stuff, and then I played like bass chords, which is probably a terrible idea, but this isn't a real song, so we don't care. But again, the idea is just so you can hear both. Leads, 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 leads. You know, first time I heard someone call a guitar cable a lead was 2008, 2009. My band, Defeater, was playing the Worcester Palladium. Worcester, $1.25, Bob. And this band that I would also be doing a record for called Dead Swans, the bass player came up. He flew all the way from England and didn't bring a guitar cable, which is actually the most him thing of all time. It's pretty epic. But anyway, he asked me, like, shit, I can't do an accent. It's like, no, I'm not gonna try. He asked me if I had any leads, and I thought he was literally asking me, like, in the band, like, do I, like, bro, like, do you solo or what? Like, and honestly, the answer to that question is like, I don't really solo. So this is going to be interesting. Okay, cool. So here we go. We're going to use the lead amp this time. Again, it just sounded good out of the gate. I was so curious about this knob. So we'll look at that. And so I added more shred. I like it when knobs are named funny things, and this is no exception. But you have to be able to back it up, right? Like if you're gonna call it shred, it better shred. I did not use the comp or the overdrive, but you know what? Let's use the comp. Why not? Let's check it out real quick. There's like a little bit more sustain going on there. Again, the Gold Star Matched Approved Joe Sturgis head cab. And now let's get into this. This is the cool shit. So this is a delay pedal. You can sync. It sounds good. Well, let's use it. Forget it. Let's try it. Here, we'll turn you off. And we're going to go back to our effects overview. We're going to go into our Echo Man. And let's push some width up. I like everything in stereo. And we should turn this on. Cool. Mix is probably a little high on that. Bring the mix down a little bit. Feedback down a little bit, because we're going to blend this with that skybox and tone down too. Make the delays a little darker. Nope, that sounds terrible. Let's bring a lot of that stuff back up. Default settings, people. They exist for a reason. All right, cool. Let's just go to full, let's go full Space Force. So immediately, ironically, humorously named things, blood, that's the setting we're using. I don't care what it sounds like. It says blood, we're using it. However, I did go through the other ones. Let's show those off. They're pretty cool. So, Skybox. Oh, you know what? For the sake of this review, or whatever this is, let's just, just this pedal on its own so you can actually hear what these effects do. All right, so this is Cloud. Sounds good. Sounds really good. This is Choral. Kind of sounds like Cloud. But it has that extra little thing going on, and I like that extra little thing. So this one's my favorite because it kind of sounds like a Valhalla plugin or like a Big Sky can do this. The shimmer setting, love shimmer setting. See? That little follow back of like the church organs that just like are behind you. Need it, love it. We're not gonna use it because the other one's saying blood. Purely based on that, we have to use it, but we'll use shimmer for the cleans. Yeah, I can't get enough of that. Room sounds like room, play sounds like plate, and spring. You've done those before. What you haven't done, blood. So cool, blood. All right, and let's add some echo, man. And so this is what this sounds like all together. I like it. Let's record leads. Sounds sick. And as promised, let's look at some cleans. Let's bring this back down to kind of where it started. I added this clarity knob, is cool, and I added some presence. I brightened this up a lot. We're not gonna use any pedals here. This is gonna be really delicate. So let's check it. I think I've got effects on, so let's just listen to what this sounds like right out of the gate, or close to right out of the gate. Here we go. So it sounds good. It sounds like at this gain setting, it reminds me of like a Roland amp or something, like something just ultra clean. But that's not my style. More clarity, please. It's sounding pretty cool. And more gain, please. I like that in-between gain stage stuff a lot. So this is where I think a lot of digital amps kind of don't do great. And that's like in the mid gains, right? Like those are so important to me as a player. I like it when, if I pick really gently, it's like super clean, but here we go. I want to get a little dirt out of it too, just with right hand dynamics. And like clean guitars when you're recording are like the Widowmaker. Everyone can play with distortion because your dynamics are just all gobbled up by the distortion, compresses the hell out of everything, right? Like clean guitars, woo, you better be good. And because I'm pretty good, we're gonna use effects to cover that up. All right, I promised we'd use shimmer. Let's check her out. I like it, I like it. What's wrong with me? Let's widen this up, boom. Love the stereo. Let's get in there. Echo, man. That's probably the third time I've made that joke this video. All right, so I think that's gonna be it. I'm gonna play us out. So video editor, man, if you wanna like add crazy effects to this, like can I fly through space or, you know, like, Yeah, there'll be a long dramatic fade out, but what else you got in that bag of tricks of yours? You know what I mean? Can it feel like I've had hallucinogenics, or the viewers having hallucinogenics? Either way, I'm Jay Moss. Hope you learned something. See you next time. Here we go.